molecule channels. That's what I've drawn in different colors. So from a previous lecture, what are these molecules that are embedded in the membrane? What kind of molecule do you think they are? Kind of macromolecule. Yeah, they're proteins. They're transmembrane protein. Trans means across, and they do in fact span the membrane. Okay? If we drew them over here, they would be like this. Okay? So there are 3 types of these proteins. The first type, okay, I say protein, let's call them channels, okay, because they are channels through which ions flow. Okay, so the first one I've drawn there. So there are 3 types of, I'm going to call them ion channels. All those ion channels are proteins embedded in the membrane. Okay, you can call them trans proteins. There are 3 types. The first type is a leakage channel. First type is a leakage channel. I've drawn it up there. Okay? Draw the characteristics. It's non-gated. In other words, you can think about it having a lid or not a lid, or a gate or not a gate. Well, it doesn't have either. Okay? So, it's non-gated. So the ions on either side can just simply flow through that protein. So the ions diffuse, no energy, with their concentration gradient. They diffuse with their gradient. What does that mean? If I say they diffuse across, no energy required, because there's no gate. If no energy is required, they're going to diffuse from what concentration to what concentration? High to low, right? High to low, okay? So high to low. Now, the shape of the channel is specific to whatever ion is going to flow across. Let's pretend, let's say, this is a leakage channel for potassium. It will only allow potassium to flow across. If it's a different shape, it might be specific to sodium, and so on. So in other words, there are sodium leakage channels, there are chloride leakage channels, there are potassium and so on leakage channels. In general, there are more potassium leakage channels. There are more potassium channels. Okay. Now we're going to go to the second type. And I'm going to draw it in a different color. Okay. Number 2, we have gated channels. In other words, that channel is a particular protein embedded in the membrane, and it has gates that open and close. At rest, do you think the gates are open or closed? Yeah, they're closed. Because at rest, you want to maintain this voltage. And if they're open, then you're going to have all of these ions going back and forth and changing this. Okay, and you might be thinking, well, isn't that what's happening here? Yes, but we're going to talk about this is the reason why the neuron is able to maintain that. Okay, so those gated channels, they will open in response to a stimulus. Okay, a stimulus might be you, sunshine shining on your face. Okay, makes you want to blink maybe. Or it might be you touching a hot stove, okay, or so on. Some kind of stimulus. there are there are 3 different types. Okay, I'm gonna say closed at rest.